You're not uncomfortable in crowds for no reason. You weren't always able to explain this feeling. But if you look back carefully, you might start to notice something. This didn't begin today. It didn't even begin recently. It started much earlier, in small moments you probably didn't think were important at the time. Moments where you felt slightly out of sync, safer. When you're young, belonging feels natural when you're understood. But when you're not fully understood, something shifts. You begin to watch more closely. You study how people talk, how they react, what makes them accepted. And slowly, you start adjusting. You learn what to say, what not to say, when to stay quiet. Not in a dramatic way, just in small, quiet ways that slowly shape who you become. And this is where something important happens psychologically. Your mind starts building a pattern. Observe first. Express later. Maybe. Because every time you felt slightly off, slightly different, your brain took note. Not as a failure, but as information. So instead of freely being yourself, you became aware of yourself. And that awareness grows. At first, it looks like maturity. You seem thoughtful, careful, emotionally aware. But underneath that, there's a constant layer of self-monitoring. You're not just experiencing moments, you're evaluating them. You're not just speaking, you're filtering. And over time, this creates a hidden cost. Because the more aware you become of yourself, the harder it becomes to feel natural around others. This is the hidden weight of being self-aware. People often think self-awareness is purely a strength. And in many ways it is. You understand emotions, you pick up on subtle details, you reflect deeply. But what they don't talk about is how self-awareness can quietly turn into self-consciousness. You start noticing not just others, but yourself in every interaction. How you sound, how you look, how you come across. And instead of being in the moment, you're slightly outside of it, watching yourself while you're living it. And this is exhausting because your mind is always on, always scanning, always adjusting, always trying to align. So even simple interactions can feel draining. Not because people are bad, but because your brain is doing more work than it needs to. So you adapt again. You become easier to be around, more agreeable, more flexible, more understanding. You learn how to fit different environments. But here's the quiet truth. Adapting helps you be accepted, but it doesn't guarantee you'll feel seen. And there's a difference, a big one. You can be liked without being understood. You can be included without feeling connected. And when that happens repeatedly, a deeper feeling starts to form. Not loud, not obvious, just a quiet realization. No matter where I go, I'm still slightly outside of it. And this isn't because something is wrong with you. It's because you learn to adjust before you learn to fully express. You learned how to fit in, but not how to feel at home. And those two things are not the same. Think about it. When was the last time you felt completely yourself around someone? Not careful, not filtered, not slightly holding back, just natural. For many people who feel this way, Those moments are rare. Not impossible, just rare. And because they're rare, you start relying more on yourself. You trust your own space more than shared spaces. You feel more stable alone than in social environments. Because alone, you don't have to adjust. And this creates a quiet cycle. The more you rely on solitude, the less you practice being fully open with others. And the less you practice, the harder it feels. Not because you can't do it, but because it feels unfamiliar. And anything unfamiliar feels uncomfortable.